It's recording.
Yeah,
What's good?
everything.
It's a slight little delay. Is that normal?
I guess so. That just means we can't cut each other off.
Yeah, so welcome to Conserve Ya Energy. I got my man 100 grand Q. That's what you go by, right? Q? Okay, okay. This is a test run just to see if this how this thing works. And turn the sound up a little bit. So I don't know. Talk to me, Q. Tell me something. God, and direct me in the way that I should go.
What I mean, conserve your energy is about what?
It's about conserving your energy. It's about speaking about only those things that need to be spoken about. In other words, uh, we're going to reserve our energies, reserve our resources, our natural resources, and only speak about those things that are absolutely and completely necessary. But what I did want to talk about is you have been an inspiration for me. Of course, as you know, you have been podcasting now for how long?
I keep saying 3 years, but really it's been like four. Yeah, like the end of 2009. I mean 2019.
Okay, okay. And if you don't mind, briefly uh, telling us a little bit about that experience about being a young black man with something to say, and what was it that made you jump out the window and say, you know what, I got something here that's a little bit different. I have something that people need to hear. And tell us a little bit about that experience from then to now. Tell us about what your subject matter in briefly, what your subject matter mostly consists of, and tell us about your base. I know that recently, and I'll let you speak on this, but recently you had um, one of your videos just went through the roof. I think now you're at about 13 million views, and that was really exciting to see. It was exciting to witness because I know how long that you've been doing this, and you're actually making money from this. So, as someone that is in the podcast space, tell me a little bit about that from the beginning. What has that experience been like?
So from the very beginning, when I what made me get started was this guy named Gary V. A lot of people familiar with Gary V. But Gary V basically was like, you know, stop being over judgmental. One of the reasons why you're not able to make videos and get on the camera is because you judging yourself too much. So after that, after hearing Gary V, you know how he can get you fired up. I said, you know what? I'm gonna just hop on the camera and talk about what I want to talk about. And my primary subject matter at that time was energy. It was about um, like ancient art forms like feng shui and basically how to produce good energy in your life and and hold and harness good energy. And then, you know, but as I was doing it, I kept this phrase in my mind, which is you don't have to be great to start, but you got to start to be great. So I wasn't getting the results that I wanted to get, and but I realized like you don't got to be great to start, but you do got to start to be great. And I would just get on off pure inspiration and speak. And then, at the time I had a job, so it was like whatever. But, then I started seeing like, nah, it's real money in this, and I started to get frustrated with my results. And so then once I had overcome the judgmental part in making content. I didn't have to like get to the point where I was frustrated with just not judging myself and speaking. I got frustrated with my results. Like, yeah, you not judging yourself, but ain't nobody seeing this content either. So you spinning your wheels. And so then after that, I spent time just researching, trying to get as much free information as I could. And what I realized is that the worst information is a lot of times free information, and like it's like if you could take it and run with it and make something happen, that's cool. But with a lot of these people that's talking about content creation, if they have a course, and they have proven results, then I suggest taking the course, because that's going to give you all of the steps that you can't really get from getting the free information. So then that's what I did. I paid for a YouTube course. And after I paid for that course, that's when I realized how to do YouTube, um and the importance of little things, like, and that's pretty much when my content started to be more, get more views, get more comments, and I was able to tap into my fan base. And right now we live in a society that is fascinated with AI, but what people have to realize is that AI, when we talk about conserving your energy, AI has been around. And so, as much as you worried about AI from your perspective as a consumer, trying to, use it to create different things, you also got to understand the AI of what you're using in terms of the company. So, YouTube has an AI, it has an algorithm, and you could be posting videos, and if it's not up to snuff, then it's going to be difficult for you to build an audience, because now it's about having good content. It's not just about making content. And so that's pretty much been my journey over the last 4 years.
So I will say that you have been my number one inspiration. For those of you that don't know, like literally, Q and I, we share an office space in historic West End, Atlanta. And so our offices are right next to each other. And so I'm sometime early in the morning, sometime late at night. One of the things I can honestly say is that you have been work and whatever steps that you had to take to get to that point to make it work. And I have been observing that from a very close distance. And by no means will I pretend that I know all there is to know about um, completely and totally maximizing this platform to do what it is that I need to do or want to do. I felt that through social media, a lot of stuff gets shadow banned, as you know, because if you're not speaking about specific things that the platforms are in support of, then basically no one hears it. So I was looking for other outlets, be it visual, audio, whatever the case may be, to kind of get how I'm feeling out there. And what I find interesting is that when I started telling people about what I wanted to do, immediately it was like, yo, don't do none of that political stuff. Yo, don't do none of this. Don't do none of that. And
Who said that?
so, oh man. First of all, mom said that. Mom's like, don't do political. And I said, well, I'm gonna do me. And if me, consists of a little bit of political, then I just, but she's like, nah, stay away from that. Of course, one of my dear friends out in California, I talked to him about it, and he said the same thing. Stay away from those more serious topics. Really, to be honest with you, I have no interest in dealing with the subjects that everyone else is dealing with on a daily basis, and that's something I wanted to talk to you about because um, you realize once you're in the space, now I'm doing it, but when I was a consumer watching it, once you watch one thing, the algorithm is going to send you 100 other things in the same format. You realize there's a million people out here doing this exact same thing, and a lot of them are
Exactly, and
talking.
they not being shadow banned.
Right. And but they're talking about the same thing. So tell me about that. Is there a formula where you kind of have a healthy medium in which you talk about those things that people actually want to talk about, but at the same time maintain some semblance of individuality, originality in this? Is
Well,
there space?
well, this is the thing. First and foremost, niches bring riches. First and foremost. So the fact that it's a bunch of people, it's like that's a good thing. It's a niche. And the great thing about the internet, especially YouTube, is that when you do find a niche that you wasn't ever paying attention to, you realize, yo, people eating off of that. Like, I think it's called mukbang or something like that, where people eat on the
Mukbang?
camera and they make, yeah, and they make mad money just making, and you realize like that's a whole lane, right? And so, it's one of those where it's like, um, now in terms of like differentiating yourself from people, it's one of those where it's like you got to realize that first, if like in terms of differentiating yourself, you have to realize that as a messenger, you are going to be different just because your message is going to appeal to different people just by the fact that you are the messenger. It's like they said in a study that children do better when they learn from teachers that are in their race. So black children tend to do better when they have black teachers. White kids tend to do better when they have white teachers. And I think the main thing is people, when we talk about people wanting to believe in something, they want to see people that look like them in order to know that it's possible. And so now, with all of the things that you are like, let's say if you was talking about politics, there, Candace Owens appeals to a certain audience that Ben Shapiro may not necessarily appeal to just because of the external differences and the cultural references that would make somebody listen to a Candace Owens. Her talking about Kanye West and her talking about, her experiences growing up and, and so it's like that, it's like, um, so as you start to dig deeper and down into your niche, you might find like, okay, I'm talking about politics, but I want to add in Christianity with that. And so now that's like you drilling down even deeper into your niche. Cause like sometimes when people have a niche, they don't go deep enough in their niche to figure out like it looked like it's a lot of people out here, but it's a different niche if you're talking about saving money versus spending money, right? That's a different niche. So even though you might be like, my niche is money, you really didn't dig down deep enough to figure out like, who exactly am I speaking to? Am I speaking to a person that's trying to make money? Am I speaking to a person that's trying to save money? This becomes very important because the algorithm is looking for your target audience. So it's a young lady. Her name is Jenny Hoyer, and she's like 19 years old. And so her whole niche is, how can I take something expensive and make it for cheap? That's her whole niche. So she'll go buy a Starbucks coffee with like a frappuccino, and then she'll figure out, how can I make it cheaper? Or when it's Christmas time, she'll figure out, how can I get everybody gifts for under $20? Like, I got 5 family members, I only want to spend $20. That's her niche, saving money. That's different than uh than the niche of making money. right? Which is, how can I flip this house, or how can I invest this? These are completely different niches, even though they look like the same niche. And so what people have to do in this age of content creation is you have to do a little bit of a deeper dive into who your target audience is, and really get granular and realize, like, maybe we are talking to the same people, maybe we not.
Well, let me ask you this. When it really comes down to it, then it seems like we always make that correlation between the 1% and the 99%, and it's always based on economics or financial. But based on what you're saying, really it seems like the 1% are those that think outside the box, and the other 99% is basically the rest of the world. So it has nothing to do with your economic status. It has to do with groupthink. And I think one of my dear friends made a comment on one on my earlier video in which groupthink. So how do you address that when you know that a large segment of the population is involved in groupthink? It's like people will literally um, they will go against their best interests to push a narrative that they don't even know if they fully 100% believe in that narrative, but it's the narrative that they've heard, it's all they know, and so they continue to push that. So when you're speaking to these people, um, are you trying to find other one percenters, or are you trying to just basically throw the bait out there and see whoever it is, or are you trying to change the mind of your viewers? What are you actually doing, or do you care? Does it even matter?
No, that's a great
Is
question.
it really just about you doing what you want to do, and whoever seems to like it, or whoever digital issues here, it appears. But
That's a great
we'll
question.
work it out.
I want to start off by saying, I had this thought the other, like, I think this morning, and I was like, people talk about statistics, and they'd be like, do you know how rare it is to be an NBA player? And then you start just thinking about it, and you like, yo, like, do you know how rare it is to be a doctor? Do you know how rare it is to be a school teacher? Do you know how rare it is to be? When you start talking about percentages, a lot of things get down to just, they are rare. You know what I mean? And it's your awareness. That's a side note. But um, basically, it's like, let's take the idea of evangelism, right? The idea of evangelism is like, it's a two-edged sword. It's like, one part of evangelism is you creating other evangelists, and then the other part of evangelism is you combating propaganda that goes against what you are evangelizing, if that's a word. And so you always are going to start with um your target market, the people that are also interested in the same thing as you. You're always going to start there. And it's something that we call the Jones effect, meaning that basically you're going to have natural detractors. That's just life. Like, if it's a million people out here, you don't have to worry about people thinking differently than you. But people that think differently than you are not going to necessarily pay your bills. It's the people that are your fans. It's the people that think similar to you that's going to want to support your cause. And it is the people that are opposing you that's going to give you and your fans fuel. It's that whole dynamic. It's a in Phil Jackson's book called The 11 Rings, he talks about team building. And he says that team building happens in 5 levels. The first level is individuality. The second level is mild individuality. The third level is like, okay, now we have a common enemy, so we are getting over our individuality. Level four is we've gotten over our individuality, we have a common enemy, and we're good. And level five is almost, it's like God level, where now you're looking at going against principalities. So if you like look at Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson, at first when they were building the Bulls, their enemy was other teams. And then the enemy became the media. And then the enemy became the owners and saying, we're gonna create this legacy owners try to break us down and separate us. And so at each level, because they had bigger enemies, it caused them to transcend self. And so this is essentially what you're trying to do with your super fans. What you're trying to do is you're basically saying, I want to create a team of individuals, um, which are the people that come and view your content. And then it's like watching Kevin Samuels, right? It's like you got all of these people that love Kevin Samuels that come from the red pill community. And then you have these females that call that's detractors. And that's what gives the fan base fuel.
See, I find that interesting because when I relate that to just the regular world, and I will say this honestly, like I haven't felt like I take for instance Facebook. I have like I think a little bit under or over 2,000 people that I'm connected to on Facebook. Now I will say honestly, out of that 2,000 people, I genuinely know probably about 60 to 70% of those individuals. And then you have 30% who are like celebrities and things like that, people that I'm just interested in. I can honestly say all with everything within me, I can honestly say that if I were to count on these people to be the people that were going to get me to where it is that I want to go, and in addition to the energy that I put into it, I couldn't count on them. There's been so many instances where I was selling something or I was promoting something or I was trying to, be of assistance to someone else. I'm like, look, someone over here needs some money because they just went through a hardship, their house burnt down or whatever. And I'm like, where are the people? And it's like you have to, I don't know, like, is it a process of you getting them to believe enough in what it is that you're saying, or what it is that you believe in, that they're willing to get behind you? So they subscribe to your page, then they comment and they like your things. What does that look like? And I don't want you to answer this now because I think that we've done an excellent job up until this point. I want to have we're gonna be conversing in continuously in the near future. But you know, I didn't feel confident in things that I was doing over the years that my support base came from those people that I knew that I believed were my friends or my associates. Most of my support came from individuals that I didn't even know. So because of that, I think people get a false sense of what it means to actually have a friend or what it means to actually have the quote unquote support for whatever it is that they're attempting to do. And that's why when you make a decision, say, okay, I'm just going to jump out the window and just do this. Just like I decided you were my inspiration because I watched you literally do this. And I said, you know what? I have something to say. But there's one side of your brain going, but why would you even waste your time? These people don't listen. These people don't pay attention. They only want to engage with you when they disagree with you. It's never a situation where it's people that agree with you, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. Generally, those people are the most silent because they don't want to involve themselves in the fray. If they're not equipped for battle, they're not equipped um for combat. And so, but it's always the people with you. They're right there in your face all the time. And these are the same people that are not going to buy your products. These are the same people that are not going to come to your show or whatever it is that you're promoting. These are the same people that are not, you know what I'm saying? So it's a weird paradigm because I can see how a person could say, you know what, I ain't doing this. And I know. because I know I've seen people. I got friends of mine. I won't name them, but I got friends of mine that do this, and it'd be one person in there watching them. It'd be zero people in there watching them, and they continue to do it because there's something telling them, yo, one day, I'm telling you, I got friends, I'm telling you, I might pop in and I pop out real quick because I don't want them to see that I was the only one that was sitting in there. But I'm like, nobody's actually watching this person. So what are they doing? And they do it every day, like clockwork.
Well,
So
you
I
know,
let,
I'm all about conserving my energy. That's me all day. That's
right.
me. Like, so for me, you know, I seen people do that and I did it, and at some point I was like, nah, you gotta conserve your energy, because it's certain things that you're doing that, you know, conserving your energy. When I think about that, I really just think that it's all
You don't
about
even
being
want people.
profitable.
Right, right. Well, yo, I appreciate you sitting with me, brother, on my actual initial video. I thought who better to share this space with than you. I learned a tremendous amount from you, and we're going to do this again and again and again and again, along with other individuals, because I think that you have a wealth of information. I think it's important because there's some people that's watching this right now that are going to say, you know what, I'd like to do that, or yeah, perhaps that's not for me. But I like to hear it from the horse's mouth, someone that's actually done it and is doing it, someone who's gone through the toils, and someone who's actually now making, I won't say making a living, but actually earning um, uh, money from their efforts. So I appreciate you sitting with me. Once again, it's Q Bracey. Go ahead and tell them about your page before we shut down.
Yeah, yeah. So I have a channel called Q hyphen B, which is my YouTube channel, and same thing, Q hyphen B clips, and this is pretty much where I break down, you know, what's going on in relationships and how men need to step up, and not just step up in terms of like you need to take responsibility, but step up in terms of you need to know what's going on around you so you can stop getting played by the devil and all of this negative propaganda out here, that's trying to emasculate men and reclaim your throne, reclaim your power. That's pretty much what my channel is about. So if that's something that you are interested in, you know, you could be a man or you could be a woman with male children, or a man with male children, and you want them to have ripe information to be able to feed their mind, body, and spirit, then that's my channel. Go check me out.
And it's spelled CUE-B.
Hyphen B, and then then I have a shorts channel, CUE hyphen B clips.
That's what's up. Appreciate you, my brother. Love you. And
Yeah, love, man.
peace.
Peace.